Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the rather late programme with Bash Dinsmore. I am your host, YouTube's Bash Dinsmore. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are interviewing, or well, not really interviewing, it's a talk show, but we like to have fun and talk about different things, we go on tangents. So, today's guest, ladies and gents, or to the one person who will actually listen back to this, because let's be real, nobody listens to this apart from me and the guests. But there we go. Yes, so such a long-winded cold open, guys. Welcome back to the rather late programme with your host, YouTube's Bash Dinsmore. Our guest this week is Anthony Tremaine, who is a composer on multiple shows that I've done. Yeah, let's say hi to the guy.
Hello.
Yes, there we go. Oh, right. So, first of all, we have different sections. It's been a while, people. This show has not been on air since 2020. That's a lie. That's a lie. I've posted one, which was like a reintroduction to what the show was, but not really a proper interviewed one since 2020. Yeah, you say I have been a busy bee. I fucking have, right? So, not defending myself or anything, but you know.
But I can vouch, I've seen what this chat works on.
Oh, bro, my motto is never not working. And it's normally me working on something that I shouldn't be working on because I've got something else that has a deadline coming in a couple of days, but that's the gist. So, what? Since 2020 I've done a lot, ladies and gentlemen. We've had Saltire, which has been running through its run. Saltire is now on its last season. We've got about maybe a month until the series finale airs. So that's Saltire, and all that. We've had Journey, which has been through 2 series already and some specials. Series 3 is on the way. What else have I done? I've done the Thistle projects. I've done Sake in the End. Bro, I've had a howler. I've done so much. I'm also doing Altered Space. Altered Space is this lovely little audio series that I'm running for somebody else for once. So that's interesting. Because normally the work I do is either as a guest writer or as a consultant producer. But this one is actually running a show for someone else that isn't me. So that's interesting, getting around. But it's fun at the same time. Now, enough about me, because that is 3.5 minutes in. We have a guest to actually talk to, because I'm wasting his time.
I waste enough of my own time, so it's fine. I've got time to waste.
Yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it? I like that. So, ladies and gents, as you know, this is Anthony, a music extraordinaire. He is a composer, a musician, and an all-round sound guy. But because music is sound, get it? Yeah, I wish I had a audience applause button, but we don't have a live studio audience, because this is recorded in my bedroom. Exactly. before we get into it, guys, first topic of the session is snack of the week. We're bringing that segment back. We haven't done that in a while. It's more like snack of the decade because it's been a few years. But the snack of the week has been confused. Clearly, because normally I ask the damn it, Tesco, you bastards. That'll ruin the brand deal. Right, so so I've got shares in them. So basically normally I ask the guests what they would like the snack of the week to be, and we normally scran them on the pod and just say why you like them. But yeah, so Ant sort of said that that he had some cream eggs, so I was gonna go over to Tesco, get a cream egg. Didn't have any fucking cream eggs, so I got a Kinder Surprise.
Serious, damn it, it's still egg shaped, isn't it?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. We love some Kinder, so I wasn't angry. But then I find out that Anthony doesn't even have a cream egg himself.
It turns out I thought I did, because I must have got like 3 or 4 cream egg Easter eggs for Easter, and then when I've actually gone to look, it turns out I don't actually have any of the cream eggs left. I went to town on them when I first got them, and I've just got the remnants of the actual Easter eggs themselves.
Classic.
It's close.
Classic. That's how it goes. Like it's an egg theme, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily cream eggs. I'm actually glad. I'm not the biggest fan of cream eggs. I'm not sure if people know that. It's all right, and I'll scran them because chocolate's chocolate, food's food. But I'm not a massive fan of that cream filling. That is way too weird for me, and like. It's not that it's sick, because it is fucking sickly, but it's not that, it just tastes weird.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, really?
I love the fondant, I do. Oh, me and my best mate years ago, we found a recipe to make an Easter egg-sized cream egg.
Oh.
And it took us 3 days to make these monsters. And honestly, like I just ballooned over that Easter bank holiday. The middle just was swollen. I just ate so much chocolate because it was like melting these Cadbury's bars. It's like one for the egg, one for me, one for the monster.
That's how it goes. One for you, one for me, one for the egg. Yeah.
And it was like 1 spoonful of that fondant, because it was a full size, they were full size Easter eggs. Like 1 spoonful of that fondant, and you were just
mental.
I can't have any more of that.
You could probably make a killing off of that. To be fair, if you made a few of those and sold them around the local area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just get some shitty branding, and you'll be all right. Ant's whatever your mate's name was, Ant and blah blah's massive Cadbury rip-off chocolate egg.
It could be an off shot from the YouTube channel instead of me. Ant and Rich Gaming, Ant and Rich Chocolate rip-off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have to pitch that.
Yeah, exactly. Pitch it to him. Yeah, look, mate, Rich, we're not doing gaming anymore.
Nope.
We're in the chocolate business. Oh.
Gonna do cat kits instead.
Cat kits, yeah. Have you seen IT Crowd?
Yeah.
Cuke instead of Coke. Jesus.
Oh dear.
God, I love that. Right. Well, speaking of snack of the week, I'm going to scran a bit of this chocolate egg and then put it down because we should be talking on a podcast. I do love a chocolate Kinder. Nice.
Oh, you're going to have the toy as well.
Exactly, look at that. I never realised it was the yolk until a few years back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've only just cracked it now.
That's just, live on the podcast.
BBC Radio 1.
I never even gotten onto that.
Mental.
I used to just destroy the egg, go for the toy, and then eat it afterwards.
Well, yeah, that was me, but then a mate sort of said, you do realise it's the yolk, right? And I'm like, mind blown, right? Crazy shit.
Mind blown.
You mental. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, that's our fun little segment, Snack of the Week. Moving on to a more deeper question. Pulling it back a little bit, guys. New segment on the pod. How you doing? That's that's meant to hit deep. How you doing mentally? Like you are you in a good place? How's life? How's work? How's making music? First podcast might be interesting. Like how you doing? What are you doing?
I'm all good. I mean, everything's just sort of on the up and up at the minute. We're moving into our first house at the end of this month at the time of recording. So that's exciting, I'm so glad this isn't like a video podcast, because the amount there are like several bags of clothes that we're getting rid of sat behind me, so I'm quite glad you can't see those.
I rate that.
We haven't even started packing anything up yet. We've just got boxes lurking everywhere. So that's exciting. I've got tons of music projects that are sort of all kind of like lined up and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting as well.
It's for me it's all right on my front because I just rinsed the shit that you've already made for me. you've Anthony was brought on as our Series 2 composer for Journey, and he made some amazing, beautiful pieces, and they were so good that I told my other two composers to fuck off for a month, and I used those pieces in some other projects as well. And so I've just released an audio film last night, Thistle the Third, which ends the trilogy, the Thistle trilogy. Use some of Anthony's music in that because it gets the heart of the piece. And as well as Journey, we've put it in other bits and pieces like Altered Space. Oh, you did do a piece for Altered Space, the main theme.
Yes.
But we have been using some of those Journey pieces as well.
I did spot one when I was listening to it the other day.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, because you made it.
That's me.
Music by, who's this Ben guy? This was my shit. Basically, in Altered Space, we've been using some of Anthony's pieces along with our main composer, Ben Stone. Ben Stone's been doing most of the pieces, but when we wanted a bit more of a deeper piece, we brought in Anthony's stuff from Journey, and it seems to be working well. Ben's not got that massive of an ego, so he doesn't really give a shit, so we love that. But yeah, so Altered Space is another one, and then Journey Series 3 comes around the corner, and you'll still be credited as the composer for that, because it'll be your music from the previous season. And Series 3 of Journey, just going off on a tangent here, Series 3 of Journey is most likely, I'm pretty sure it will be, because we've already done a post-credit scene in the last episode of Journey, setting up Series 3. But I haven't written any of the Series 3 scripts yet, so we don't know exactly what the arc is, but the story, the topic, let's say, is LGBTQAI stuff. Yes, stuff. The best word to describe things. Yeah, man. So that'll be the arc, or the topic for next series. And I only bring that up because it's any representation is good representation, I always say, right? But back when I was about to write Series 2, at that time, there were a lot of movies and stuff coming out on Netflix and all that. Some independent, some fairly big budgeted. They were all LGBTQ, and as much as I appreciate that, I want my show to be different so that people can see it, because it is unique. And that's how you get in the industry, you know? You need to be unique. That's how people pick up your stuff. So I was like, well, fuck me, that's my Series 2 idea gone. And then I realised, right, well, I'm an identifying Catholic with my own beliefs, so let's work on that. So Series 2 became about faith, and we just pushed the original idea about LGBT back to Series 3. And now we've got to that point. I'm now noticing that all of those films and shows about LGBTQ stuff have been and gone. And there will be a couple here and there, but, you know, I'm not in that massive crowd now. And yes, you could say, oh, but they did it first. And I'm like, yeah, but I did something different first. So, you know, it's that sort of thing. So it's always good to have representation, but I think it's also good not to be a sheep in the crowd. Gotta be different. And that's part of what being LGBT is, you know. You gotta be different, and you gotta be true to yourself. Because who wants to be normal? You know, normal's boring. Yeah, always been a mental bastard.
Priding myself on it.
Exactly. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you know I like to have a nice little swear on these pods. Which means I don't get monetized by YouTube, which is a pain in the ass, but who cares? Because nobody fucking watches this anyway. So yeah, the one view is the YouTube fucking centre, just like, for fuck's sake. Oh, Jesus, could you imagine? Poor bastard, these goes on for hours sometimes. There's one which is like 2.5 hours, I think. One of these podcast episodes, and I was like, oh fuck, if I release that, oh, nobody's gonna listen to that, it's too fucking long. Oh mate, yeah, it got like 3 views. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, that was a long one. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah.
Part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly, part of the fun. But yeah, so touching upon that journey stuff, you know, you could pose different sort of pieces for me, which actually related back more to the Series 1 sort of arc, which is quite interesting because we moved on to Series 2, which was a different thing. Like, the subject of Journey is the journey. You're moving on and, you know, you're trying to be a better you or whatever. But there's different topics within that subject. So Series 1 topic was suicide and depression. Series 2 was about losing faith and restoring it. Series 3 will be LGBTQ. There may be a Series 4 if I don't want the show to end just yet. Because I like to milk the cow dry, but I won't go up to Series 15 like the Americans. You know. So it's stuff like that. But the main thing for the music that you were doing, I guess, was it all related to my character Matthew and what he had been going through. And Matthew will be the only character who is in every episode of the show. So Series 1 he was the lead, and then Series 2, 3, 4, etc. he's a supporting character. He's at the bottom of the cast. He gets an and. But he's still the one that connects these stories. And what your music does is sort of show his journey. There's deep pieces. Matthew's theme is one of my favourites. And actually, there's pieces called, Sorrow Within, which is quite emotional and deep. There's Forevermore, which I like it, because Dinsmore, Forevermore, get it? And then there's, Reflection and some other small pieces and Passing on the Torch, the Journey theme. There's different pieces, but they all relate to Matthew in a way, rather than any of the new characters or whatever in Series 2, Series 3. But that's the thing, in each series there will be an episode that goes back to the previous season, and will always touch upon Matthew's journey, because it is technically his journey from start through finish. And although he may not be the lead, he's becoming a mentor, and that is part of his journey from that first stage. So my first question is, what was it like to compose these pieces? Because you've got the theme, which is fairly standard, you're like, right, let's just make a theme which is like, keys and strings, let's make it deep, Matthew's theme, it's got to be deep again, but there were all these different things. So how did you work out what you wanted after I just said, yeah, go ham? And then as well, you also had that piece which was a lovely piece, which was originally like a wedding march for the Isle or something, which you didn't, you left on. Yeah, that's it. and you sort of left that unfinished for a while because you didn't really like it, but bro, I heard part of it and I really enjoyed it. And then when you were done with it, you were like, you know what, it's not that bad. I'm like, brother, it's one of the best ones. And you've said you've had people come up to you or message you and say, actually, that was pretty fucking good. Why didn't you release it at the wedding or whatever? But what was your process? How did you get on with that?
I think the main part of it is whenever I approach any project, if there's a main theme that needs doing, I tend to try and get the main theme to kind of reflect what the rest of the score is going to kind of do.
Sure.
So that it can kind of like, you can kind of put that together, and then it helps me work out where I need to start from. The sort of the process that I'm going to follow and the kind of style that I'm going to do. And then it also gives the person who is like running the show, gives them an idea of what else is to kind of come as well. 9 times out of 10 I'll do that, and then I'll do something completely different for the rest of the score sometimes as well.
I love that.
With the journey main theme, because I remember when you first came to me and asked me about it, and
you did a free piece for Reese. Do a freebie for me. Oh, shout out to Reese though.
I missed, like, I sat there and I came up with these ideas of this big emotional piece with choir and orchestra and things like that, and I was like, oh, this, and then I started watching Series 1 to kind of do some research and went,
different tone.
Yeah, like I am miles off.
Yeah,
what needs to be
yeah. I guess when it's
this right back.
Yeah, exactly. I guess when you're looking at it and you're like, right, deep. Let's get a choir in. Let's do all that. Oh, it is very stripped back, and it is very primal and raw in a way. Says the writer. So I guess it does need stripping back, and when you do that, I guess the primary things are keys, and they are strings. I'm not going over the top
because I was listening to it, and usually a lot of my scores are all they're very orchestra heavy or synth heavy, and then there'll be maybe like perhaps on like something like my solo stuff before I started doing soundtracks all the time. I'd perhaps write a piano piece on there that might have some strings or synths or whatever, but this one I enjoyed doing the most because it meant I kind of set some rules for myself before starting writing it. So it would always going to be that there would always 9 times the main instrument for the majority of the score would be the piano.
Yeah.
To kind of carry the score along.
Hey guys, the showrunner's a pianist too. What a surprise!
What a shot!
Oh, what a shot! Yeah, of course it's piano.
That's a given.
Oh, Jesus, I love that.
But then it was sort of like things like, when it comes to the orchestra, strings was definitely going to be in there. So it was always going to be,
sure,
violins, violas, cello, bass. That would always be in there. And at a push, I thought maybe light woodwind, which I didn't use in the end.
Sure.
But it would always be kind of just like mainly string and piano, and then anything else after that would be synths.
Yeah.
That would be used to kind of like either just accompany the piano a bit, or in some cases carry the entire tracks. And when it came to Journey's main theme, I wanted something that could carry over the emotion from the previous series.
Sure.
But also I kept it quite simple as well. I mean, when we'd had our first call, after the call was finished, literally, I don't even know how it happened. I had my I've got 2 keyboards in front of me, and I had the one. Literally, our call finished, and I think I pressed like the main sort of 4 bass chords.
Right.
Oh, okay. And then
easy peasy.
Yeah.
I guess
like notes that played throughout came afterwards, and then I just sort of arranged the strings around what the piano had already done, and just kind of added first violins, second violins, and things like that to kind of build it up.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit different to some of your other work, to be fair, because we had maybe 2 calls, was it, or was it just the one?
I think it was one.
Right. So we had a call. I'm sure lots of people who work with you have ideas for what they want in their projects, and and they'll be like, oh, this is the name of the piece, or this is whatever's happening, and so there I am. I'm just like, look, just give me some good music, mate. I've composed some pieces myself for other films that I've done, and I've worked on it before, and I know how hard it can be, and especially when I'm trying to just do it on my keyboard rather than use a software or whatever. So I know how hard it can be, but I didn't really want to set any guidelines or any sort of boundaries, just like, as long as the piece was good, that's cool. And I'm glad that you did find a way to strip it back when you realised the show was a little bit more raw and emotional, but I wasn't going to stop you from doing that. It's up to you. But yeah, so my question is, like, compared to other people you've worked with, do people tend to let you just crack on, or do they want a lot of stuff, or like, how different was Journey compared to some of the other things that you've done?
Well, it can depend. I mean, to be honest, I think each project I've worked on has always had a different kind of method of putting stuff together. Some people might perhaps give me a list of themes that they want.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, whenever I've worked with Overton Audios, Connor will kind of give me...
Shout out, yeah.
Will kind of give me a bit of a list and sort of say, can you do these? 9 times out of 10, I'll take that list, and then I double it, and because I'm just that kind of guy who'll just go, oh, I've got more ideas, and just double the work for myself, which is what I ended up doing with Journey, because you gave me a list of 3 themes, and the soundtrack ended up like...
Yeah, I think I said the main theme, Matthew's theme, and like passing the torch, but then you came and gave me like 10 different pieces, and I was like, oh shit, I love this guy, free music. There I am, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna take the piss now. I'm gonna take a piece from every single project he's done and credit it as my stuff. No, but no, I was Yeah, no, do you want to quickly crack on?
Oh, sorry, yeah. So it is kind of like, I mean, I might get lists. I might, in the case of, like, say when I've worked with anything on Vocal Lab, for example,
Sure.
I will usually, I'll be given kind of free reign, but the difference is with that I won't get like a list of themes. I'll get the actual audio scenes to score.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'll get it without any music on it, and then I just kind of go to town on it.
Oh, what will you get the edited audio, or will you get like a script?
The audio.
Oh,
so
right.
I'll get the actual audio itself, and I'll score it that way. Which is so like,
Sure.
which is why, for example, the Century House soundtrack is like over an hour and a half long because there was so much music.
I guess.
To write on that one.
I guess it helps because then you can hear the emotion behind some of the actors, and you know, and score to that.
Yes.
But then have you ever composed to a script? Like you've just been given a script and say, right, write music for that scene.
Yeah, as such, because it'll usually just be a case of I've had just kind of like lists or things like that for now, or in the case of when I worked with Reese on Virtue and 1,000 Crimes,
Yeah.
that I got the edited kind of like audio sent to me. And he had notated the script for me, so like he put like numbers next to certain lines, and then at the bottom he put what he wanted per those kind of little bits. So it was quite easy to kind of go through the actual scenes itself, and then I could split that up myself and score it that way.
Right.
So that was kind of writing.
Okay.
A script, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. No. I get you. No. Reese. Shout out to Reese Dale, guys, because Reese is he's actually the age of my little brother. So like, you know, we're not the same age per se, but you know, he's one of the most grown up people that I've worked with in this industry, surprisingly enough. And like, you know, he's so dedicated and so what was the word? I guess dedicated is the word. You know, he does everything to the line. You know, like he if he wants something, he'll do it to a certain standard. And he'll make notes and he'll get back to you. And now he's at uni, so I know he's a little bit busier. But you know, fuck me, he's done a good job. Yeah,
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean,
yeah, and he's a sound kid, you know.
So
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah, no, he's a sound kid, and I'm sure he'll make it big one day. You know, he'll probably you know he'll go and do good stuff. And leave me in the dust, never to work with me again. There I was on a project showing him the ropes, and he's like, "Nah, I know, mate. I'm good." So shout out to Reese Dell. He knows how to do it. And then also shout out to a special person called Alia Itori, because I had the pleasure of meeting her for the first time when I went back up to Scotland recently. And we hung out in Stirling for a bit, and we were just talking about different projects, and you know, she worked as different things across the mediums, and she was helping me with my Journey Easter special, which we shot up there. And we were just talking because we mentioned Overton as well. And I never knew this. Like I always thought Goddard must have, you know, not been working, because he does so much, you know. And like, I'm always seeing the posts on the Instagram page where it's like, right, here's 30 different projects coming out within the space of the next month or whatever. And you're like, fuck! I do like 2 episodes of 2 different shows a week, and that's max. Like, and he's got like 50 episodes edited completely. I'm like, fuck, like, you know,
he's so far ahead of himself. I mean, any Overton project I've ever worked on, apart from, I'd say, perhaps Torchwood Rebirth, is always, my music and soundtracks are always written and ready to go like months ahead of when they ever get released. I mean, for example, Devlin was finished, the music for Devlin was completely finished and put together like January time.
Yeah.
January of 2022, and the actual soundtrack itself wasn't released until October. I think September, October time, so it was like right towards the end.
Yeah, I remember he emailed me actually. He emailed me about a part really early on last year, and then it didn't get released till December. It was like, come on, man, where's my thing? I want to hear myself in your thing, and he's like, brother, it's not coming out till Christmas. I'm like, fuck, you know. Oh, it's crazy.
It's like the Torchwood Nexus soundtrack that was finished. That was finished last year.
Yeah,
that was done in 2022. That was all finished by like June. I think I went back and wrote some additional music for him later in the year, but that wasn't released until 3rd of April this year. So it's like, he's a machine. That man is a machine. But he's a wonder to work with. Honestly, he's a great chap to work with.
Yeah, no. Shout out to all these people: Ali Aritori, Connor Chadwick, Reece Dell. All sound people to work with.
I'm going to put Adam on in there and say Craig McDowell as well for...
I've never worked with that guy, but,
Honestly, me and Craig have gone... We go back before Vocalab even started, so it was...
Jetting like a house on fire, then.
Yeah, and he knows how I work, and I know how he works, so it kind of like...
Solid relationship, bond, that is,
yeah. Exactly. It's just wonderful, and like, will always be, for example, when I was doing Century House, because there was such a long delay on it as it was already, but I was doing 2 projects at the same time. I think I was, when the scenes were coming in for that, I was also doing the sequel to Venus Flint and Angel Goes to War, so I was working on Blood Feud at the time.
Right.
But because Blood Feud had such a small deadline compared to Century House, it was a case of I was kind of like Monday, Tuesday, I was working on Century House when the music was coming in, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and perhaps at the weekend, I was then blasting through what I had. Of Venus Flint. But he was fine with that. He had no problems. He was just like, get it over when you can type thing. So and I think I've found that with everyone I've worked with, including yourself. I've never had an unreasonable. I mean, I've had a deadline where perhaps I've had to kind of go, it's going to take me a bit longer than that. I can't knock up a piece in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But for the whole, I mean...
this is where I'll abuse you. I'll be like, nah, I want that now. Get me a piece in 5 minutes, Anthony. You're like, oh...
I mean, it turns out as well, I've actually worked on projects that Aaliyah's been in more than I realised.
Yeah, she's in fucking everything, man.
Yeah, there's one Virtue. She's the showrunner for one that I'm actually working on.
Oh, really?
At the moment for her.
God, woman of many talents, showrunner. I didn't realise.
Well, I think it's showrunner. I can't remember.
I know she's directed some things, but I didn't know that. Crazy.
But yeah, and then there's the Vocalab stuff that she's in, as well as the 13th Doctor. So there's she's done a lot. She's done a lot. Like Connor makes a lot. She does a lot. Like, it's mental. It's mental. Well, speaking of the topic of these projects, moving slightly on to your current projects, like what are you working on now? What are you working on at the moment? Well, at the moment, I've got there's the one that I'm working with Aaliyah, which I started earlier on in the year, which was the project that I had to kind of finish before I started Journey, called Shutter.
I heard about this.
And I've written I've written the main theme for the show, and I've done a load of character themes already to kind of go, kind of like suites almost for her.
Yeah.
But that's being done through Vocalab now. So what's happening, I can't do any more music on that until the scenes have been kind of put together, and then Craig will do the usual, send me over the scenes, and I'll score them and probably like integrate the themes into the score somewhere. So there's that at the moment, which doesn't have a deadline.
Right.
There is there's a soundtrack that I've finished that I've actually announced that's out on the 29th of May, which is the Doctor Who, the Stella original soundtrack, which I think is for things that I think it's one called Doctor Who Interstellar, and I think there's another project as well that some of the things have been done for, so that'll be out.
Copyright Interstellar, cheeky bastards.
Which
No,
means I've
it's
done
right.
another Dalek thing. Honestly, I swear I'm becoming the Daleks bloody...
They're the ones making you compose.
I'm rivaling Murray Gold almost for the amount of Dalek things
Jesus Christ, yeah, Murray Gold, fucking hell.
It's the only reason that I wrote the Lost Soldier, I wrote that episode was just for the fact that I've been begging Craig to do a Dalek episode, because I wanted to write a Dalek episode.
Right.
I ended up writing 2 for that, the main theme, and Metaltron got his own theme as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, before I knew it, I ended up, I think, and as of now, I've written 3 or 4 completely different Dalek themes.
Metal.
So there's that's not long being finished, and as I said, that'll be out at the end of May. I've also got there is for Vocalab again. There's the 13th Doctor trilogy called Then and Back Again,
Right.
which the first episode of that has been, well, the first 2 have been announced. The first one I'm working. It's weird. It's a first for me because of the amount of projects I had on the go, and me and Craig had kind of looked into getting a second composer on board,
right,
so that I could kind of, if I was busy doing something, I could kind of delegate the work to someone else, which we got Hudson Media on board, who is, I was delighted when he came on board, because he's a fantastic composer.
Sure.
So he is,
look, if he's doing freebies, I'll go to him as well. Rinse every free composer out there. Yeah, no. But that's
he's come on board for the first one, which is High Voltage, and as I said, this is a first for me on that one, because I've written the music for the trailer, and I've done the music for the actual, like, I've done a suite with character themes in there.
Sure.
And I'm producing the album, but he's doing the score, so he's kind of like taking the bulk of the music, and he's doing the rest of it. The second one, which has also been announced, A Pirate I Must Be, we're doing that together. I'm still putting a suite together with the characters' themes in there, but the actual score itself, we're sharing the duties out, which I've still got to work out the logistics of that. I don't know whether I need to, whether it's going to be Craig will just pick which scene suits which composer better. I don't know, or I might look at one and go, Harry, you'll be better at this one.
Not just a composer, are you? You're director of music as well with them.
Well, that's, the
musical
head of
director,
music department.
Yeah, Christ.
It's kind of cool, because we have got another composer come on board we haven't actually picked a project for yet.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if you were head of department, but it's only you. It's just like, yeah, cheers, I'm my own boss, alright. Yeah, no problem.
I think I'll delegate this to myself.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was gonna ask a couple of questions, because maybe you know, maybe you don't, but so within, you know, credits and music in film and TV, mainly in film because they're so different, but so you get your music by credit and whatever ones you wanna you know, get with that, whether it's music composed by or, you know, orchestrated by, conducted by, and then you get your music supervisor and your director of music and your music producer, executive music producer, like, so I'm a musician, so I know what a couple of them are. You know, I know that the music by is, of course, the composer. I know the music supervisor is the guy, you know, who deals with soundtracks or you know, actual, like, music made by other people that they just stick into the film. What does the like music producers and the director of music and all those sort of people do? What do you have any idea?
I'm not 100% if I'm completely honest.
Sure. Seeing as you're a music producer, I thought I'd ask, but then you know, what do you do when you music produce? Like what type of tasks does that entail?
Well, I mean, for the most part, I've only ever really produced my own stuff.
Sure.
So it's always been kind of picking the track order, making sure that, because I obviously, all the stuff I've done, I mean, I am arranger, composer, producer, mixer as well. I mix all the albums myself. The only time I've ever really done something for someone else is really been High Voltage, which for the main part is just kind of in terms of producing wise, I don't know if this really does fit into what a producer actually does, but I'm kind of looking after the track listing, making sure that the album kind of flows together, checking in on the other composer just to see how things are getting on, and if they need any help with anything, things like that. I mean, to be completely honest, I think the High Voltage's score is in completely capable hands anyway, to be honest with you, because Hudson Media is also co-editing the audio as well, so he's kind of getting an idea of the music already, so it's sort of but I mean, so it's kind of like just making sure things run smoothly, I guess.
Classic producer title, I guess.
That's what I'm doing with High Voltage anyway.
Sure. No, I get you. Fair enough. I was going to bring this up because I searched this while we were chatting about your other projects. And a lot of us people in the industry like to make IMDb's, even if you're not doing the biggest projects just yet, because you like to get your work out there, and it's something professional. So I'm just looking at yours at the moment, and my producer on the iPad behind me is just like, for fuck's sake, why are you bringing this up? But I'm going to ignore him. So the three pieces or the three different shows that you've been producing on here is Journey, of course, which is my show. Then you've got a show called Devlin, which you spoke about, and Torchwood Rebirth. So I'm going to take some pride right now with the fact that you've done the most for me on this at the moment. Because it says 9 episodes for you composing Journey. And then for Devlin it's 5, and Torchwood Rebirth it's 4. However, I have spoken to you before, and I know Torchwood's catching up. So that'll be a sad day soon. But
I think Torchwood is. I think it's 4 more. I think.
Right. So. Okay. Still not.
Still technically believing.
Yeah, it's not bad. You're actually going to be 10 episodes of Journey next week.
Nice.
Because we have. I'm sort of cheating a bag here. Because. Ooh, do I release it in a pod? Yeah, nobody's gonna fucking listen to this. So I'm cheating the bag, right? So this episode of Journey, which is coming out, so last was it last week? A couple of weeks back, we released the Scottish centric episode of Journey, the Easter special, which doesn't have anything to do with Easter, and that was all filmed on location, and that was all great. This one, which is coming out on the 19th, I think, maybe? It'll be next Wednesday, whatever that is. It's using all archive footage. Basically, there is one scene that I have shot now, like last week. Which was me in my bedroom looking out in the window, longingly looking back at the past and the memories and all that. And the whole fucking episode is just going back through the series, and it's just like it literally is just like a catch up episode. It's like, right, if you can't be asked to watch the whole series, here's what's happened, and it goes through those previous episodes. So it includes stuff from Series 1 and Series 2, and both lots of specials. And everyone's credited with, the credit. If they appear in the episode, then it's, guest stars, special guests, main cast. But nobody apart from me has done anything new for this specific special. Literally everyone's already done it, like, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Like, the music you've done is still the old music you've done, So, literally everyone's getting you credit, especially on IMDb as well. And then, like, you'd be like, what? I didn't do anything. It's just like I've done it times 2 now. Like, it's been done, and it's been copied and pasted rather than done again, which is going to be quite interesting. That episode's going to be a little bit boring for viewers who've seen every episode, because you'll be watching the same shit again unless you want to watch it for me specifically staring out of the window. But I doubt you do. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. So that's coming up next. But apart from that, what's next for you? Are you still making music? Like, because I know you've set out your year, but what's next? Are you planning on branching out into anything else? What was your plan?
Well, I mean, as you say, the year is kind of pretty much kind of planned out. I mean, there are projects that are stuff. I'm working on a new one at the moment. That there are some of the ones that I've kind of mentioned. There are some I don't know that I can mention.
Right.
Yet.
Don't say anything you can't mention. NDAs and all.
Yeah. But yeah, there's the vocal lab stuff. There's a couple of bits. I'm dabbling in writing the actual scripts for stuff.
Hey, so we love a writer. We love a writer.
I mean, at the moment, the only one I've ever actually written and it got released was The Lost Soldier, which was kind of what was like the gateway to 2022 being so busy.
Yeah.
But so I'm dabbling in writing a few of those. There's the Doctor Who story for Vocal Lab, and then I'm also adapting a book into a 4-part audio, but I won't say any more than that.
Fair enough. Silence will fall. Yes.
But yeah, there's a couple of other music projects as well that are coming up that are kind of penciled in.
Nice. Rub some of them out and just make more music for me. That'd be great. Put that in pen so it's permanent. Right.
There's stuff for, like, mostly with like people that I've worked with before. They've asked me to come back, and some are sequels, some are new stuff. I won't say who or what with yet, just in case, because I don't want to get told off.
Yeah, no, that's right enough. I've not got, like, because I'd love to use you again, but I know that you're a busy man, and also there's not really anything new that I'm working on at the moment. But when it gets round to it, I'm still debating whether there'll be a series 4 or not of Journey. But whatever happens for the series finale of Journey, the final episode, I'd love one more piece from you for that, because that piece will be something like the journey's over, or journey's end, or whatever we decide to call it. Mission complete, that sort of thing, and it'll wrap up the show nicely, I think, to have a piece like that. Like, everyone's in a good place at this point. It'd be nice. So I'll call upon you for that again one day, my friend.
I mean, you asked me for one piece, and I usually end up writing like 6 or 7.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, I wanted it. I wanted it this week. Look, I'm writing like 20, so you'll get it next month. I'm like, for fuck's sake. I rate it. I love that. And I'm co-writing, ladies and gentlemen, a audio movie, which is interesting for me, because I do a lot more series work, just because I write better with character stuff rather than story stuff. But I'm writing an audio film that will involve some magic, let's say. And and I'd like some music for that. But that's not going to be made for a very long while because I'm working on 2 different series at the same time, people. And show running, both of them, fuck. But yeah, so I'll message you about that another time and we'll chat about that because I'd love to have a theme for our villain. I'd love to have a theme for myself, but you know, we'll get around to that. That's a conversation for another time, ladies and gents, that you are not privy to. And make me a piece, sure.
Yeah.
You're
There's not much more to it than that.
You're in the queue, lad. Like, cheers, boss. Place number 35. Fuck. So I'm noticing that we are at 55 minutes now, ladies and gents. I'm gonna wrap it up in a bit because I've got an appointment at the gym, so I gotta disappear. But we're gonna go through some hypotheticals and some this or that questions, and some questions in general about slagging the population. So, everything here is a joke, ladies and gents. Don't cancel us for this. Don't cancel me for this, because I'm running 3 different shows. Right, so, let's get into the hypotheticals, shall we? So my producer on this, Jamie, has been writing these questions, and I'm just going to ask Ant and see what he says. I may join in if I want to slag the population, but we'll see. So, question 1. Oh, he started off with a bad one. Okay, so question 1. It's not necessarily bad. It's just it might be bad if you particularly go on a rant here. But what is one thing you hate about people's characteristics in general? So, you know, it could be slow walkers, or it could be people eating with their mouths open, or just, it could be something like that. Just,
I'd probably say bad manners.
Cunts. Yes.
Is a pet peeve of mine.
There is no reason to not be nice. You could have a bad day, and I get it, but there's no. Just don't be a dick. I get that. Yeah. I get that.
I don't know at what point. I mean, it used to be that they cost nothing, but I don't know at what point when the price of manners just went up. But I mean, it's just it's a pet peeve of mine. It's just nah. It doesn't. It takes 2 seconds to just be polite. It doesn't take much. So
that's a really big one. I think one for me is replying. And I go back and forth on this on my other podcast, Healing with Seb, because that's more emotional and deep. But I know we're all getting older and lives change from school days and all that, but it takes 20 seconds to reply to a text, and whether that's mate, I'm busy, fuck off and I'll speak to you later, or hey, what's up, or look, I just don't feel the vibes with you anymore, look, let's call it a day. At least that'll tell me not to bother you anymore, it just takes 20 seconds to text someone. And, going between the are we friends or are we friendly, because, I could be good with you, when we meet up, but then you'll be like, I don't speak to you for 6 months. And I know it doesn't matter how much you meet or whatever, but come on, talk to me, guys. Talk to me, people. Fucking hell. So that's one for me, and I'm dealing with that now. Right. If you could be anywhere else in the world right now, where would you be?
Ooh. I would say I've always wanted to go to, and there's a reason for this, because I tend to find, musically wise, I've always been quite inspired in the winter. Like the creative juices get
Sure.
going in the winter mostly. And I've always really wanted to go and visit Finland, and I would love to have a writing session.
Yeah.
Just to see what I came up with. Just lock myself away in a cabin in the snowy woods in Finland somewhere, and then just see what happened. See what music came out of me from that. I'd absolutely love that. I mean, when I was in my old band years ago and I used to write all the songs for the band, winter would always be like the rest of the band members would just be braced for this flurry of new songs that I'd just be
I love that,
to learn.
Oh god. Well, look, God, I'm gonna forget his name now. Your partner. Fuck. Is it David? Is your partner's name David? Fuck's sake. How do I get this wrong? Who the fuck is David? Right, okay. I don't know how I got that wrong. Fuck me. Jim. Dave. Right, fuck it out. I was going to say, right, lad. This is your chance. Go get him a ticket to Finland for Christmas. Fuck me. But clearly, I've fumbled the bag on that, and I'm not going to say it, because that's hurting me inside now. Fuck's sake. Right. Describe yourself in a word.
Oh my god.
And if you can, a short phrase. Pain in the ass does not count. No self-hate. My one is complicated.
Musician.
Sure. Musician. Alright, that does what it says on the tin. Alright, that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I only picked that just purely because I've always, throughout, ever since first school, actually, I'd say going back, I've always had an interest in music through one way or usually, mainly, I didn't realise it was film scores until much later on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could always pick out. When I was young, I mean, everyone knows. For example, everyone knows the iconic Wallace and Gromit theme.
Yes.
I was the sort of kid who, in first school, I could hum the music in its entirety. Don't know if that's sad or not. From the chase sequences from all three films, all three of them, mainly I think A Close Shave, but I could hum the music from all of it, and people are like, "Why are you humming? Don't know what that's weird." So I've always sort of been a musician at heart, I think, and then I discovered the legend that is Mr. Hans Zimmer.
Yes,
and
yes.
Opened a whole new world from there. So
yeah, I rate that. I'll have to send you more music memes. Oh Jesus, you'll be one of the only people who gets it in my friendship group. Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know music theory, but I mean, I still class myself as a musician.
Yes, exactly. Well, mate, if you're composing pieces, you're a fucking musician. That's part of the job, right? Okay, we'll do a couple more.
Okay.
Right. So, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, that's an easy one. Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
Ooh.
Easy. I don't even have to think about that.
Ooh. Nice. That's a curveball. I like that.
My favourite songs of all time, and I think it's mainly because when I was younger, I kind of knew of it because my dad used to play it quite a bit. And then one day in about 2003-ish, I think it was, my dad read a newspaper and was like, "Oh, Peter Gabriel's touring. Do you want to go?"
Yeah.
So me, my mum, and my dad on a whim that night. It wasn't like a
book in advance. Yeah.
Yeah, he just rang the box office and said, "Do you have tickets left?" They said, "Yeah." So we went to see Peter Gabriel at the NIA that night.
Right.
And it was just sort of like, ooh. And then Sledgehammer, any karaoke, any sort of, it's there. It's straight away. Sledgehammer is my go-to.
I love that. That's such a good one. I rate that highly. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a nice one. Right. Okay. So two more. Just because these two questions are quite interesting to me. Firstly, what game / movie / book / TV world universe would you most like to live in? Now, be careful with your answer here, because if you say fucking like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, you're gonna fucking die, right? Aren't you? Like you know. So like, be careful with your strategy, but do have fun.
Ooh. Oh, that is a very good question.
Yeah.
I have got.
Because I've got so many things I could say, but I'm like, no, I'd be the dumbass who dies first. You know?
See, favourite film, Jurassic Park.
You'd be eaten.
That's a no-go. I'd be the one that gets murdered.
You'd be eaten.
I'd be the first one.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah.
See, video game-wise, I mean, I've got... Ooh. Now, I would have to say, because favourite 2 video games are Metal Gear Solid and the Tomb Raider franchise.
Hey, Tomb Raider, right there.
Metal Gear Solid, I would say, is probably a bit of a weird and wonderful one to live in, but maybe Tomb Raider?
Sure, okay.
I would say go on a few archaeological adventures with Miss... I mean, if there's anyone who was going to turn me straight, it's either going to be Helen Mirren or...
I rate that so highly. If it's anyone who's going to turn me straight, it's Helen Mirren. I love that.
Miss Croft is the only woman I tend to book all my time off for.
Yes.
Time with me and Miss Croft.
Quite. Yeah. Oh, poor Jim. Who's this new woman in your life? Oh, it's Lara Croft. Oh shit. I love that. Yeah, it's not only a woman, it's a virtual one.
She is the woman. She is
the woman. God. Oh God. Yeah, no, we gotta love that. And final question of the podcast, ladies and gents. This is either a fairly simple one or a very complex one. What stereotype do you completely live up to?
What stereotype? Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't... I really don't know.
Not that this is for the audience, because they won't see this, and I'm not going to describe it, but I do this a lot in my pictures as a as a bike guy, so that's always fun to do. And like my straight mates are like, what the fuck? I'm like, look, I'm one of you as well. It's just I'm fairly fancy free man.
I honestly don't know on that one. I mean, I think I'd have to ask Jim on that one.
I like that answer. To
find out which stereotype do I fall into. I mean, I can be a bit of a gobshite, I must admit.
Right.
I do tend to go on a bit.
Sure. He'll come in with a fucking list and he'll read them off, and you'll be like, thanks a fucking bunch now. Cheers.
One.
Yeah, 1, not fucking 20, you wanker. Oh, Jesus, I love that. Oh, God.
I don't know. I don't really know, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a tricky one, that one.
Fair enough. We'll end it there, guys. Yes, thank you, Anthony, for coming on to the show, the rather late programme.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, because it's called rather late, because I tend to release it at like 11 PM, but I don't know why I do that. Nobody's going to fucking listen to it. But there we go. It's it's supposed to be like the talk shows in America, isn't it? It's the Late Show and all that. So there we go. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to disappear quite quickly, because I've got to get ready for the gym in like 5 minutes. And then, I'll speak to you later on, and I'll tell you when this is going to air. For those of you who have been listening from the start, this is actually the first episode back since 2020. So this will be the first episode of the new series. I've got 2 more lined up. over the next couple of days to do. So, yeah, we've got 3 so far, so that'll be good. One's actually from 2020, which I just never got around to... one's actually from 2020, which never got actually edited and put for the last lump, so we'll stick it in this one. Yeah. Oh well. Better late than never. Alright, ladies and gents, I will see you in the next one.